Hello everybody, welcome back to Simply a Breeze. I'm Bree if you are new here. Today we are finally starting our tomato seeds. I still need to figure out what all tomatoes I need to grow, so I'll take you along with me. We also need to up-pot our peppers. They are looking phenomenal right now, and their roots are definitely coming through the bottom of these trays. So I want to get them up potted now, give them plenty of time. I also would like to separate the ones that have double peppers immediately. That way the tangling of the roots is minimal. We also have some celery growth here. I need to go grab my notes and I'll let you know which ones it is. But this celery from here to this cell, so far germinated the best. And then the celery down in this bottom set of 3 only had 1 germinate. So I need to figure out which one that is. I'll put it on the screen for you. But our red cabbage didn't do squat, didn't germinate. I think those seeds are really old, so they will be going into the compost. The green cabbage and the broccoli, however, look pretty phenomenal. They are doing pretty good. They are setting their first set of true leaves right now. So that's really nice. And so it is just time to get these out, and I'm going to show you how I separate them without traumatizing the seedlings and their root system. Next is the other seeds that I started. So I started dill, spearmint, oregano, and thyme, and then this is parsley. The parsley recently germinated. It was the last to germinate, and I was really worried it wasn't going to germinate at all. So I'm really happy to see that it did germinate. I'll bring you in here in a second because the thyme, the oregano, and the spearmint are incredibly tiny, but the dill looks fantastic. All right, so I have my notes from the last time we were down here. Let's see what celery is doing the best right now. The Utah celery. So if any of you know anything about Utah celery, I would love to hear about it because I don't actually know the difference between the Tango and the Utah. I just know they were different and I wanted to give them a try. So if you know the difference, please let me know. But the Utah celery is definitely the celery that is doing the best. Yeah. So let me take you into the spearmint, the thyme, and the oregano to show you how tiny they are. And it always makes me nervous every time I grow them because I'm worried I'm going to overwater them, underwater them. I feel like they're so susceptible to like changes in water because of how tiny they are. So this is all peppermint, those tiny, tiny little seeds. That is all thyme. This is all thyme. And then these down here are the oregano. We've got the parsley. And this is all dill. And then a really good close-up view of the peppers. The poor Tango celery, the immaculate Utah celery, the very sad red cabbage, green cabbage, broccoli. So for our tomatoes, we need to figure out what tomatoes I need to start this year. And I apologize now for the way that I sound. I am mostly back to normal, but I had the flu. I had the flu for about 9 days. And now it's just my voice that sounds a little funky. I'm great otherwise. So I apologize if I sound not quite there. We are on the mend, I promise. So I definitely want to start Roma tomatoes because they are a determinate variety, which means they will only grow so tall, and generally they flush, they put on all their fruit at about the same time. So I'm not going to be picking a couple fruit one day and then wait another couple days and then pick a couple more fruit. I should get most of it at once. Plus I've heard, and my gardener is really good at that, and his Roma tomatoes are incredibly prolific. Next are the San Marzanos from MI Gardener. I've never grown San Marzanos, and I've also heard wonderful things about them being a great paste tomato, so I'm excited to try them. These are a semi-determinate variety, so I'm curious to know how big they're really going to get. I'm going to grow them along a trellis just so they have some better support, but we shall see. So this is a new variety to me, and I will let you know how that turns out. I for sure want to grow some cherry tomatoes. We do like cherry tomatoes for things like salads, pasta salad, regular salad. And so I'm going to get a fox cherry tomato seed started. I'm also going to get a sun gold cherry tomato seed started. Both of these, it sounds like someone's upstairs. I'm home alone. Hang on. I think it's just me hitting the table, hopefully. So I want to grow one of each of those cherry tomato varieties, so that I do know. I'm not growing tomatillos this year. I grew a ton of tomatillos last year, and honestly, I'm set. If I regret that decision, I regret that decision, but that's where I'm at with that. What I don't know is whether or not I want to grow a slicer tomato. I will only grow one. I also don't know if I want to grow the Amish paste tomatoes. The Amish paste tomatoes, they're a jung seed that I got. I've had these for a really long time, several years. But they're the paste tomato that I've grown the most of. The problem is they are an indeterminate variety. And the issue with the indeterminate varieties is right now, all of my trellising space is going to be really limited for the 2025 garden. I have goals to grow a lot of pole beans, and that's going to take up most of my trellises. So my trellis space is about to dwindle, so I'm not sure if the Amish paste are going to be it, or if I need to rearrange my trellis system to be able to grow a couple of these as well, because the Amish paste have always been super prolific for me. They do tend to get disease, but it might hinder the production a little bit, but not enough for me to stop growing them. So we'll see. I may start a couple and then make the choice to cull them or gift them to someone later. And then I have the Amish Gold Slicer. I have a Wisconsin 55. And I have a Rutgers tomato. Honestly, I don't think I've ever had the Rutgers tomato germinate. Ever. So I think I'm just going to compost those seeds. Because I'm just tired of wasting my effort on them. Unfortunately, that's really sad. The Wisconsin 55, I think I've also only ever had one germinate. Not super great. So I may try one of those seeds just to have a slicer, or I may try the Amish Gold Slicer this year. So I may start one of each of these and just see what happens. Reed and I don't generally just eat slicer tomatoes. Generally, we want tomatoes for sauces, for diced tomatoes, for marinara and stuff like that, or the cherry tomatoes to go in our salads. So I think that's where we're at. I think I made a note of how many tomatoes I wanted to grow this year. Let's see. My organization and papers is absolutely chaotic, so don't judge me. Let's see. So I want at least 16 Roma tomatoes. I want at least 6 San Marzano tomatoes. So let's see what that works out to. I also want to do this evenly by cells, right? Like I don't want the cells in which I plant to be like all one cell is this, but the rest are this. I don't want that. So I'm going to try and keep everything relatively even for the sake of me keeping everything straight. So if I want at least 16 Romas, if I did 2 per, that's 12. I'm going to plant all of this Romas. I'm going to do chaos. That's fine. The San Marzanos, I'm going to do this whole section right here, San Marzanos. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so this whole right here is going to be San Marzano. Or do I just do that? That might make things a little bit easier. There we go. So that's going to be San Marzanos. These 6 cells, these 12 cells are going to be Romas. And then I'm going to... See, it's really hard because I don't want very many of these cherry tomatoes. I'll do Amish paste here. So I'll do these. So at this point, if you can't tell, I really cannot make up my mind as to how many of everything I want to grow, what all I want to grow, and I changed my mind and changed the way I set this up several times. I am also a talk to thinker type of individual, so I have to talk everything out in order to like fully think through a process. Eventually I do get it squared away, but you're right now what you're seeing is me really trying to figure out how I want everything set up. So this is truly my method for figuring almost anything out. I just don't have the space to plant that many tomatoes this year unless I change the setup of the garden, which is doable. We can do that. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm growing. Holy buckets. And then flowers. We are also going to start some flowers today because I can start calendula, straw flowers, marigolds, and cosmos. My goal this year is to have far more flowers in the garden. I love looking at flowers. I absolutely love flowers. I can't keep them inside because my cat will eat them, and most flowers are poisonous. He doesn't have the street smarts to know he shouldn't eat the plant, and he'll eat whatever is there. So I can't keep flowers in the house because of him, because I don't need to accidentally poison my cat. And lemon balm. We're going to start some lemon balm today too. So I'm going to fit that in this cell tray. And then I don't need another cell tray. And then we'll get to uppotting all of the peppers. I just went and got myself a cherry limeade poppy. They're okay. They aren't my favorite. I definitely thought they were more like a sparkling water. They are not. They're good, but when you're expecting a sparkling water and you get like something a little bit sweeter and more like a soda, you're a little shocked. But cheers. We're gonna finish this soil off. Giant stick. This isn't my favorite soil, but it's what we've got. Honestly, all right, time out. I'm really jumping the gun right now. We need to figure out what flowers we're going to start, because if we're going to start flowers, I may just start a whole new seed tray and do the tomatoes and flowers together so I can put a humidity dome on the whole thing. So we got to pause. Just super excited. Okay, we are for sure starting zinnias. I'm hoping there's still zinnia seeds in here. These are zinnia seeds that I saved. However, I then proceeded to dump this all over the basement floor the other day. So I'm hoping there's still seed in here that I can use. But we will be starting zinnias. Let's grab the seed container and our flowers. Awesome. So we are for sure going to start this copper red straw flower, this purple red straw flower, And I don't know what color this straw flower is, but we're gonna give it a shot. We've got calendula. It's Pink Surprise. I think the borage is a direct sow. No, borage isn't ready yet. Marigolds are ready. Yeah, marigolds. Nasturtiums say to direct sow. Oh, here's more zinnias. The gazanias. Oh, the gazania, we're going to start now because those are meant to start indoors. Let's see. Okay. We're going to start Cosmos. So I have this bright, light, and mixed color Cosmo. And then I've got 2 packets of the Candy Stripe Cosmo. Here we go. Everything else we will start later. There we go. There we go. I've got more miscellaneous zinnia seeds. I love zinnias and I love marigolds. So we're gonna do a whole thing of marigolds. We're gonna do a bunch of zinnias, and we're gonna do straw flowers. We're gonna have lots of flowers this year. This is super exciting. I'm really stoked to have an entire tray dedicated to flowers. So we will leave this like this for the moment. And now we can get our soil mixed on up. This seed starting mix is not my favorite. It's got a lot of like twigs and sticks in here. So, but I was at the mercy of what they had on hand, and it is what it is.
I don't know if I made it clear, but I did go ahead and ultimately decide to go ahead and put the tomato seeds in the same seed cell tray as the herbs that we have started already, simply because I'm not growing nearly that many tomatoes and they all fit in this tray, and then I don't have to limit the flowers I grow and take up extra seed cell trays.
Let's go ahead and just top it with some soil. And then we'll give it a little water. So all I'm gonna do is throw the plastic wrap on top here. And this is gonna be my makeshift humidity dome. And now we're gonna stick these under the lights, and I'm gonna put this half under on top of a heat mat. Tomatoes like warm soil to germinate, preferably. They can still germinate without the warm soil, but 1, I'm starting these seeds a little bit later than I would have liked, and 2, some of these seeds are a little bit older, so I want to give them as much of a chance as they possibly can get. Let me take a picture of this setup for the flowers, and then we're going to start our flowers. So we got Cosmos. So all of the straw flowers definitely needed to be started because they do take a while. But like the zinnias and the cosmos, they can also be started once the soil is workable and above, I believe, 45 degrees consistently. So we will also direct sow some flowers, but I wanted to go ahead and get some flowers seeds started now. That way we can have successive blooms throughout the year. So now to get all of these up potted, I need to get my 4-inch pots out. So I went ahead and put the 4x4s in here. They don't fit super well. These are new trays to me. I don't know how I'm feeling about it, but we're gonna make it work because it's what we've got. So if you can tell, this guy, this guy's really tiny, but this guy looks stronger. So I'm not gonna keep that guy. I'm only gonna keep this guy, and I use a butter knife to help scoop this stuff out. All right, so this guy had 4. This guy had 4 in it, and we're only gonna, that guy's too small. We're gonna see if we can save 3 of them though. And so we're gonna very gently, we're gonna maneuver the soil to try and separate the soil and hopefully separate the roots. We're being very gentle. We're not ripping. We're gonna slowly pull. These guys are tangled up pretty good. Let's see if we can work them just a little bit more. There we go. Sweet. We got one untangled. See if we can get this guy separated from the others. Nope. I think. Fantastic. And the thing is, when you start this many seeds, you're okay with some of them dying. That's the other thing, is you plant this many seeds for germination, but in reality, you generally don't always need that many. And so I plant this many, one, to help with germination, make sure I get enough that I want. But also, when it comes to transplanting, like those seeds, I didn't realize 4 seeds got in that cell. And sometimes separating the roots is what's traumatizing to the plant. So this plant, even though it successfully got them separated, it could still die, which is why. All right, we got these watered in. We're gonna set them back under the grow lights. And then after this, we are going to start fertilizing these seedlings about once a week with this fertilizer. So this fertilizer has been recommended by several people. It's what I've been using for the last 2 years. I do really enjoy it. And I only use 4 seedlings, about 1 teaspoon. I put about a tablespoon in a gallon of water, and I distribute it amongst all the seedlings. I'm thinking the celery I'm going to transplant into the other seedling tray, so I can just completely empty this tray out. Here we go. And I'll water that guy in. Now let's get our peppers done. Oh man, I'm gonna have to work really hard to keep all of these straight. So I have my notes here. So we've got Marconi and pepperoncinis. I don't need all of these Marconi peppers. I really don't. So we will not be keeping all of them. And as luck will have it, this pepper, these two separated really nicely, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep both of them for the sake that they separated really well. So this is the first year I've had such a prolific pepper growth. So let's, oh, beautiful. Those separated so nicely. We're only gonna do 6. We're gonna do 6, 6, and 6. So we'll move on to the banana peppers because the banana peppers are a sweet pepper. They're not a hot pepper. And I'm gonna try and keep the hot peppers in their own in a different tray.
So I actually started far more pepper seeds than I needed, and unfortunately I didn't have the up potting space, nor do I have the garden space to keep all of these seedlings. So I am going through and picking the seedlings that look like they are the best, that look the strongest and the biggest, so they have the better chance of producing and surviving the transplant.
We got all of our peppers transplanted. So if you noticed while I was watering this last set of set of pots, I had to put the pots into the humidity dome because I am currently out, or I was, out of bases. However, now that this seedling tray is empty, I'm actually going to dump this soil just back into my potting soil. It can still be used, intermixed and everything, and these peppers will just compost in place, and then I can use this space for those pepper plants. Oh, I put the tape on and I shouldn't have. It's fine. It's fine. Also, I don't know if you noticed, I used up all of my 4x4 inch square pots. So we are now, from this point on, going to be up potting using old start containers that I have been saving. This is not the first time I've done this. Probably won't be the last. But I am going to have to, going forward, get us some new trays because the humidity domes, they're just not strong enough and I end up breaking them and I don't enjoy that. So let's transfer the tape real quick. Hopefully it still sticks. And it sticks well enough. Sorry about the fluctuating light. The basement just does not have the best lighting. However, we did it. We got it done. I feel really good about this. I'm excited. Makes me happy. We got all of our peppers up potted. It's time. Oh, it's so exciting. Makes me feel good. It also, we went for a walk this morning and it felt like spring. So that was really nice. I have big plans for these peppers. I'm going to try something I haven't tried before. So we're just going to get these under the lights. There we go. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. We are in the garden or we're cooking up something good in the kitchen. Bye guys.